Chronicles of Scorpion, the Rise of a King. In a world where the shadows hold secrets and power lies beyond mere sight, one boy's journey unravels an ancient tapestry of fate and legend. Chapter 1. Mastery of Ninjutsu. Guided by forest demons, he steps into the ancient arts of ninjutsu, where wisdom flows like a river in the heart of the woods. Here the secrets of martial prowess merge with the Zen wisdom of old, crafting his soul as both warrior and sage. Chapter 2. The Wild Child. Abandoned yet never alone, he is raised by a pack of wild dogs, running, hunting, and learning the ways of survival. The forest is his family, its creatures his kin. This boy becomes one with nature's primal instincts. Chapter 3. The Spiritual Awakening. As he matures, he stumbles upon a power hidden in plain sight, the spiritual core of reality. It calls him toward a destiny far beyond mortal understanding. Chapter 4. Becoming the Priest King. Through fierce battles with his own spirit, he rises as a Priest King, a worthy vessel of Set, the god of chaos. But power invites new forces that have been waiting. Chapter 5. The Awakening of Lilith. From the depths of hell, Lilith stirs, a queen with eyes on the new king, Scorpion, born of the wild as she once fled. Their connection binds them, forging demonic pacts as kin. Now I, her son, damned eternally, walk between realms and an empire. With demons at my side, we shall rule not just hell, but fate itself.
In 2002, there was a movie starring Dwayne Johnson called The Scorpion King. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. However, did you know that there actually was a real king of Egypt called Scorpion? I kid you not. In this episode, we'll take a look at the real Scorpion King of Egypt, also known as King Scorpion I. Believed to have originally come from the early Egyptian city of Nekhen, also known as Hierakonpolis, the king we today refer to as Scorpion I is one of Egypt's earliest known rulers. Archaeologists call him King Scorpion because he's identified by a scorpion in a few artifacts ascribed to him that have been found. He comes from the era of Egyptian history we call the predynastic period, which was a time before the lands of Upper and Lower Egypt were unified into one state. Etched into the limestone cliffs near the site of Nakada are scores of primitive drawings and texts, mostly doodlings and what seem to be the names and perhaps even some prayers of travelers who crisscrossed this region's trade routes long ago. Basically a form of primitive graffiti, the etchings actually contain several languages and date to various periods in history. However, one set is particularly striking. It holds a series of 16 different images, birds, snakes, and what seemed to be a bull's skull upon a staff and some human figures, one of them clasping a club in one hand and a rope in the other with what can only be a prisoner at the end. Next to these is what is unmistakably a scorpion. Upriver about 800 kilometers to the south, by the Nile's second cataract in what is today the Sudanese portion of Nubia, is another graffiti narrative. This one featuring an image of a scorpion dangling a man between his claws with two other figures standing nearby. One of them is holding a bow and arrow aimed directly at the hapless prisoner's head. Coincidence? Maybe. But many believe that the etchings, which have been determined to date to about the same period, around 3200 BCE, may be linked to a man who was laid to rest in a large 12-chambered tomb discovered in 1989 by German archaeologists in the Egyptian city of Abydos. Though looted and with the body no longer there, the tomb held many clues that it was the final resting place of a king identified by the sign of a scorpion. Thus, he was called King Scorpion. The tomb had once held food items, jars of wine, objects made of precious stones, obsidian, ivory, gold, and boxes of linens, some of which the looters had failed to take with them. Carbon-14 dating indicated that these items were entombed with their deceased owner around the year 3200 BCE. In addition, the early hieroglyphics on the labels of the remaining grave goods named many cities and towns in Egypt that this king seems to have ruled over, as well as foreign lands that his kingdom may have traded with. In 2008, Dr. John Darnell of Yale University linked the graffiti described earlier, which he believed to have been an early form of hieroglyphics, to the tomb in Abydos. He also believed that the graffiti, which was similar in presentation to early forms of hieroglyphics found in Heraclinopolis, were descriptions of battles that King Scorpion, or at least his followers, may have fought. Although we don't know much about Scorpion I, an object known as the Scorpion Mace Head, found in Heraclinopolis and today housed at Oxford's Ashmolean Museum, gives us a few clues. Though mace heads were common weapons in early Egypt, due to its size, the highly decorated scorpion mace head seems to have been used only for ceremonial purposes. It depicts Scorpion I wearing a kilt and a belted loincloth, to which a bull's tail, a symbol of strength, is attached. Most strikingly, it also shows the king wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt. However, the scene on the mace head is not one of war, but the king digging a canal with a hoe. In front of him is a man filling a basket with soil, while others are shown watering a potted palm. Though not nearly as powerful as the pharaohs who would come just a few hundred years later, Scorpion I is credited with laying the foundation for what would become the first dynasty of Egypt. He made the city of Thinis his capital, which would later on be the base of Egypt's early dynasties, who would go on to unite the country. The objects found in Scorpion I's tomb also forced archaeologists to re-evaluate what they previously thought they knew about early Egyptian history, beliefs, and architecture. However, probably the most significant discovery linked to Scorpion I are the hieroglyphics found in his tomb at Abydos. They indicate that writing in ancient Egypt dates at least to Scorpion I's reign. In fact, such writing may have even been developed to record his achievements, as well as to help administrate his growing kingdom. This has led some to believe that perhaps the earliest form of writing may not have been in Mesopotamia, as is currently believed, but in Egypt. However, this is just a theory. There's other evidence needed to prove it. Still, such recent discoveries show that what we think we know about ancient Egyptian history and society can change at any time. So that wraps up this episode on Scorpion I of Egypt. I hope that you learned something from this video, and if you did, please don't hesitate to give it a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Also, for more in-depth coverage on some of the topics that we discuss on the channel, be sure to check out the History with Sai podcast, as well as follow the channel on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.